to show the different ways that the units would fire to put bullets down on the enemy. Now there's pluses and minuses with every one of them. Yeah, right there and firing that way.
Which way are we firing?
Straight on. So how about left wheel on the line?
Left wheel. Right. Mark.
So they're going to form a firing line right here. Oh. Now for this, you can come a little bit closer because there's nobody firing back. Please, nobody beyond me. Okay? The target, in which case would start to tumble inside, breaking bones and ripping things apart. Very nasty. There's a plus and minus to every one of them. The first one we're going to do is fire by file. Fire by file from the right. That means each man will fire, and then the next man will fire once the one to the right has fire, so down the line. The advantage is a rapid rate of fire, but the disadvantage is very little ammunition going down range. Sergeant, when you're ready.
Ready. I'm going to fire by file. Commence fire.
And they would reload and do this in 3-shot bursts. So it would go down the company line once, twice, 3 times, then the officer in charge would reassess and perhaps move firing by rank. Now we only have 1 rank, but under normal circumstances there'd be a front rank and a rear rank. Firing by rank would be only the men in front would fire and the men in rear would be in reserve. Once the men in front have loaded, the men in rear would fire and back and forth. So in this case, section 1 fire, section 2 fire. So 2 or 3 at once, wait, 2 or 3 fire. Firing by rank, 2 by 2.
Fire by rank, 2 by 2.
The advantage to this is more ordnance going down range.
Fire.
More of it going down range. The disadvantage, more men have to reload, which gives the enemy a chance to fire and advance or change position. The last one is a company fire. This would be where all men would fire at exactly the same time. The advantage is massed ordnance downrange. Disadvantage, everybody's unloaded at the same time. Sergeant, when they're ready?
Company fire.
Company fire when they're ready.
Company ready. Ready? Aim. Fire. Come to the shoulder.
A good soldier could discharge 4 rounds in a minute.
Or dirt.
A lot can happen in the time it takes to fire 4 rounds. Unfortunately, as I said before, often they would start to panic. Load, ram the bullet, and forget, and then load another bullet. And again. And again. Some rifle could come back 4 or 5 bullets rammed up in the barrel. Another problem is that most men that needed glasses couldn't afford them. So even though they're 100 yards away, they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, literally. And they had another problem. They often over-elevated their fire. They would often aim higher, and the bullets would sail over top. Thank you. Now you add in the obscurity of the smoke, the confusion, the noise, and it's really not that hard to see why there were so, quote-unquote, few casualties relative to the number of men firing at one time. That said, these rifles were accurate to 300 yards, and the average firefight took place 75 to 100 yards apart. The smoke, as I said, would obscure, and one unfortunate Confederate had a good idea, so he thought. To wipe the sweat away, he put a white cloth, as it were, around his head. When they found his body, there were 23 bullet holes in that white cloth. 23. So suffice to say, that stopped. You'll notice that a few of the men have got Mason symbols. sometimes they put a Mason patch over their heart or on their kepi, and the thought was, if one Mason saw another, they would shoot at somebody else. Nice theory. Application? Not so much, especially when somebody's shooting at you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all of the official presentation. The camps are going to start being broken down because guys have to go. I only live a couple hours away, so I'm going to be over there with my kit. If you would like some more in-depth information about what they carry, the uniforms, please feel free. And I might be able to convince some people to let you fire a couple of shots if you're over this tall.